And these are my buddies. So that's me on the right there. Charles Simmons in the middle. Charles got his engineering degree from Morehouse, Georgia Tech dual degree program. And he got his master's degree from Stanford University. Met him at Bell Labs. And Steve Moore graduated top of his class from the University of South Carolina. Now, to graduate top of your class, if you're black, from University of South Carolina in the late 1970s, you were smart. So when I first met him and knew where he was from, I said, I'm hiring this brother. So the three of us and my crazy dog Woody comprised this company. And we went into my basement and went to work. Now, this is the prototype of our first product. Pretty ugly, huh? It was a box. That's what we made, a box. Well, what this box did was it simulated the characteristics of the telephone network. So you could plug in a couple of modems on either end or any device that communicated over a telephone network, and we could control everything in between by a computer. You would hook a computer up to this thing. We had software on the computer that would control how much noise there was and how much intermodulation, distortion, and how much phase jitter, and all the things that could screw up a data transmission. So that was the prototype of our product. This was the actual production product after we prettied it up and got it ready to be sold. Now, we weren't very sophisticated in those days. You know, a lot of times you see people who started businesses, you see them at the end of the process. They're dressed nice, they talk good. But in those days, we didn't know a whole lot. So, give me an example. I wanted to get some money to take our product from that to that. Okay, I needed money. So I knew I had to get a loan from a bank. And I had heard that there were all these people out there that wanted to give loans to African Americans to start businesses. This was very prominent in the news in the 60s. You know, we want to encourage blacks to go into business. Well, I put this, I put that in the passenger seat of my car. And I drove over to a local bank. And I drove up to the drive-up window. And a person came to the window. I said, I need a loan for my product. You know, you might think I was stupid. I think I was stupid, you know, looking back. But the young lady at the window was just a teller. And she said, well, why don't you come inside? So I said, should I bring my prototype with me? She said, that won't be necessary. So I went into the bank and I found out that this was just a little bank branch, and they don't loan money for, you know, stuff like this. They didn't even know what it was. So then I went down to the SBA in Washington, D.C., because I heard the SBA was trying to get people into business. I walked into SBA headquarters. I didn't take this with me that time. But I walked in and I said, I need some money for a business. And they also looked at me a little bit like I was crazy, but they gave me some pamphlets and whatnot. I said, we have an office in Newark. Why don't you go see them? Well, to make a long story short, I went to the Newark office, and then I went to a few banks, and I was able to get a loan from a bank that was guaranteed by the SBA, by the federal government. And the way it worked was, the bank loaned us $150,000 so we could get our business started. The interest rate at that time was prime plus 2, which translated to 13% interest in 1983. It was also, we had to put up, my wife and I had to put up our house as collateral, and we had to sign personal guarantees for if for any reason we didn't pay back this loan, we would have to go to work and, you know, pay for it. And after all of that, the bank had a guarantee from the SBA that if all that fell through, they would get paid. Interest rate was still 13%. So we didn't care though, because this product cost $16,000 a piece. And 3 of us guys could make it. So we didn't have to sell many of them in order to make some money. So in year 1, we had a very tough time. And there was a guy at Bell Labs who was another one of our colleagues. And I had actually, when I was there and I was a supervisor, I had stood up for him because I thought he was being treated unfairly, not being promoted to supervisor. And ultimately, I got the guy promoted to supervisor. Well, I think he remembered that, because at the end of that first year, when we were in business, we were just on the edge, wondering if we were gonna go out of business or not. He called me up on the phone. It was a little bit before Christmas. And he said, Dave, I think I need your product. And I said, that's great. His name was Victor. That's great, Victor. And I said, just write out a purchase order. It's $16,000. He said, no, I don't think you understand. I have a lot of money to spend by the end of the year. And I think I may need more than one of your product. Well, by the end of that conversation, he had bought 5 of these products and some accessories. And the total came to like $100,000. We were off and running. And second year, our first year in business, we didn't book all of that sale into the first year. Our first year in business, our sales were $100,000. Second year, $800,000, almost $900,000. Third year, $1.7 million. Fourth year, $3.1 million, and on from there. Just went up exponentially. So after the first year, we were in really good shape with this company. Although it was never easy, because we were always battling the competition, but we were able to build the company up. Now, we